Riley Gaines getting paid by a sponsor to put tape on her mouth only to get paid to take the tape off of her mouth and then blame the left. Kind of reminds me of that bike stick meme. She reaches down and puts the stick in her own spokes, and then she's like, why would the trans people do this? But the thing is, it's not just this instance. It's that since the 80s, and especially since the Tea Party movement, the saddest part of the fringe right has been begging us to see them as victims. I remember when Sarah Palin and Michelle Bachmann rose to fame, reading dozens and dozens of articles about how the academic left needed to take time to sit down and listen to the average right-wing American. And as the party of ruinous empathy, we did. We have poured millions of hours into trying to understand where these people are coming from, into trying to hear their message. And the whole time I've been screaming internally, because it turns out their message isn't that complicated. It's the equivalent of writing "me no likey brown people, women are icky, and me want more money" on the kids menu at Texas Roadhouse. The second their food comes, they throw it off the table and say, this isn't what I wanted. But we still couldn't stop listening to them. How many headlines have I read that said, we need to understand the average Trump voter? They just want what the rest of us want. It's absolute bullshit. And yet we still keep listening. We listen to them all the way to the White House. We listen to them all the way to a House and Senate majority. We listen to them to a Supreme Court majority. Now, after all of these decades, from Pete Hegseth demoting women and minorities in the military and now denying promotions to 2 black women without cause, the nonstop MAGA attack on DEI and the trans community, it turns out their message is exactly what it was in the beginning. The 3 pillars of the Republican Party: me no likey brown people, women are icky, and me want more money. And frankly, I'm done listening. It's time for those of us who understand to start speaking.
There is no listening to MAGA. There was a period once upon a time before Ronald Reagan, sorry, I had a phone call. There was a period in time before Ronald Reagan figured out that he could utilize the religious right in the United States of America as a voting base. That period of time before that, there was the ability to get things done in a bipartisan manner because everybody at the table wanted the same things. We just had a difference of opinion about how we go about getting there. Since Ronald Reagan utilized the religious right as a voting base, and then that new Republican voting base transformed into the Tea Party during the Obama years, and then that transformed into what we see as MAGA. What they want out of a country and what we want out of a country have been 2 vastly different things that are on opposite tracks. They're going in opposite directions. Used to be Republicans and Democrats both wanted a safe country to raise our kids in, the ability to go to work, earn our living, be left alone, raise our families and enjoy life. And we just had a difference of opinion on how we got there. Now we have this far right-wing movement for the past 40 years that has been getting further and further and further right, that no longer wants the same things we want. They want authoritarian rule. They want their people in charge of everything no matter what. They want your version of a society to be crushed and their version to be the only one in existence. You don't get freedom of choice. You don't get to be able to make your own medical decisions and decide who you're going to marry and what books you're going to read and all of that. That's not what they're interested in. Keep in mind, these are the same people that attacked our own Capitol building to overthrow our own government to install a dictator over the will of the people. There is no listening to MAGA. There is no negotiating with MAGA. There is no reaching across the aisle with MAGA. Old school moderate Republicans who don't vote for this shit, yeah. But they're not the ones in control of the Republican Party anymore. They haven't been for a while. I don't know if they're ever going to get control of the Republican Party again, but right now they are not the ones running the show.